You say that you're raring for peace, but from what you have said right now, it doesn't look like there's any peaceful resolution in the front, in front of the PDP, it will seem, because you have said a number of things here that, you know, we're not going to be weak. First of all, you said that the meeting ended yesterday because as a result of ego and pride. The question is, whose ego?
The ego of these two governors.
Because you have said that you have, when, you know, the PDP stakeholders meeting is called, and, you know, you must, your side of Alimodu Sheriff must be the chairman of the meeting. The question is, what sacrifice are you willing to make to ensure that there's peace and reconciliation in your party?
Very good question. The first sacrifice we made was to say no victor, no vanquish. We didn't want to rub it in on anybody. We know our rights, we know what to do. And let me reiterate it now. 90% of the grassroots, they are with Sheriff. In that gathering yesterday.
No victor, no vanquish.
Yes, and that was the position we took.
But when you say that, when you insist that Alimodu Sheriff must chair every committee meeting, aren't you taking the position of the victor?
No. You see, like, think back to the Civil War. At the end of the Civil War, Gowon was the head of state of Nigeria. No victor, now vanquish. That doesn't mean that Gowon should now come and become a state governor or relinquish his position as a... Were you born then? I'm sorry. Let me tell you, let me just add to this. That statement became a prophetic and a loving and blessing to this country. No victor, no vanquish. It related to the 3 R's. And that was what we wanted to emulate. To throw open for the love of Nigeria and to everywhere. And that is where we stay at.
Do you think that the actions from this part, from your meeting now, has further thrown your party apart or brought you closer and understanding the issue?
No, it has established one fact, that we no longer need to wait for anybody. Those who are waiting for the Supreme Court, let them wait for the Supreme Court. But the party will move on. We have our agenda. Number one, we are starting full-blown. We are no longer, because we've been slowing down to allow for reconciliation and everything. As from today, the party will act as the party. One, we are going to very immediately put in machinery for our national convention. We are not waiting for anybody. If you like, you come. If you don't come, as many as come shall receive blessings from PDP.
Just a moment.
Yes.
You have spoken about, you know, the president, former president, trying to intervene in the matters of a party that produced him as president. You know, he's enjoyed, you know, positions on the platform of that party, and I'm sure he felt a sense of duty to ensure that, you know, the parties were reconciled.
Yes.
Why would Alimodu Sheriff and your faction, or you would say more, walk out?
Again, please, there is no faction in PDP. You know, every time we come here and say it, you don't realize the
okay, fine. There's no faction. I concede that to you.
Yes.
No
so
faction. Why would Alimodu Sheriff
of the party
and you know, a group of people,
not a group of people, the National Working Committee.
Okay, let's say the National Working Committee walk out on a former president. You don't consider it a slight?
No, you don't understand what happened. When the chairman, as the chairman of the party, is the chairman of that gathering, the former president gave his welcome address. After that, the chairman of the party was supposed to speak. And then two governors said, the chairman of the party cannot be introduced as the chairman of the party. That if he is introduced as the chairman of, just two governors, that if he is introduced as the chairman of the party, they will walk out. And that was what happened. So we said, look, this thing, we must put it right, and we must stop it here. So as a matter of fact, the chairman didn't walk out. The meeting ended when the chairman left. Please get these things right. These things are they are not semantics. They are technical languages. The meeting starts with the chairman and ends with the chairman. When the chairman leaves, except he has relinquished his authority for the headship of that session to anybody, the meeting ends when the chairman ended. When the chairman left was when the meeting ended, and that is the law.
So the problem was
the chairman of the party cannot walk out on the former
my apologies. Let me just.
What happened is that the meeting ended and the chairman left.
So the problem was just the opening remarks, just to give an opening remarks by Sheriff. That seems to be the problem.
Yes, and that the Sheriff will not be introduced as the chairman of the party. Meanwhile, out of 11 governors, 9 are in support of Alimodu Sheriff. 9
were they present?
3 of them were present. The 2 of them, and then the governor of Taraba, and then 4 deputy governors to represent their principals. Of course, you know these are difficult times. So most governors are busy. And the members of the National Assembly, everybody was in that meeting. And to tell you, my brother, but look, you see, I want to tell Nigerians something. This man, Ali Modu Sheriff, is a blessing to the PDP. And he will continue to be a blessing to the PDP. And God didn't bring him, God does not make mistakes. God did not bring him as chairman of PDP because, God brought him as chairman of PDP because he wanted Nigerians to enjoy multi-party democracy. He's the agent of change, whatever you look at it. And initially in the PDP, once the governors get angry and then people get angry and say they don't want this chairman, before you know it, they throw the chairman out. They throw the chairman. But this time around, it has not been that. Right, so the party is now looking inward. We are returning the party to the people. And watch the movement you see. You will see a robust party. You will see people who will come into the PDP. I don't want to talk much. Give this party the next 6 months. All these things they are talking about.
Why do you say that there is no faction? If a faction means a small organized group, especially in politics, within a larger one, who disagree with certain opinions.
The court of law has told you there is no faction. Look, you are running an organization. How can you be talking about it? Are you not aware that the court of...
if the court says he's the chairman, does that mean that there is no faction?
There is no faction. That is what it means. If there is a faction, the court will recognize it. And let me tell you, for the avoidance of that, there was another case involving Abia. Somebody went to the Supreme Court last week only to say that he is representing Ali Modu Sheriff Critical Committee. The Supreme Court told him never to make that statement again.
Has this... Is there any...
And that Ali Modu Sheriff, the Supreme Court asked the so-called lawyer, are you not aware that there is a ruling from the Court of Appeal affirming that Ali Modu Sheriff is the chairman of the party?
Has that judgment been appealed?
Which judgment?
The one that affirmed Ali Modu Sheriff as chairman of the party.
An appeal.
Are you aware of any appeal?
An appeal does not stand as a stay of execution. Are you a lawyer?
I'm asking, has it been appealed? I'm not saying whether it stands or not.
You know, whether it's appealed or not, the Supreme Court, I'm just telling you what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court is aware that there was an appeal filed.
I know what the Supreme Court said. I'm only asking you, are you aware of any, if it has been appealed? It's straightforward.
It's of no issue. It's an irrelevant question. Why I say it's an irrelevant question is this. An appeal does not mean a stay of execution.
You're going ahead because you think you know you're looking for the answer. I'm only asking if it has or not. It's just for information purposes.
No, it's of no relevance. And let me tell you, the court has...
So is your group in receipt of any...
Party.
Are you in receipt of any notice of appeal?
Of course.
You are?
Yes, of course so.
Okay. All right, Dr. Cairo. So what happens now? Because when you walked out, your group walked out.
No, when the meeting ended, please correct it.
No, from what we saw there, the meeting went on.
No, the meeting didn't go on. Are you still listening to me?
The meeting didn't go on.
Now, let me tell you, let me repeat what I've just said. You know, for the avoidance of that and for the sake of the public, in a party meeting, the meeting starts and ends with the chairman. When the chairman walks in, that is when the meeting starts. When the chairman leaves, that is when the meeting ends. And for every respect, let me make this clear. The chairman never walked out on anybody. The meeting ended as when he left.
All right, Dr. Cairo Ojougboh, the Deputy National Chairman of the PDP, thank you for talking to us today, and all the best.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back in a moment. Join us again.